welcome to the very special edition of the Yankees cast. I have not done a Yankees cast in a very long time, and I'm excited to do this. It's the season starting in a couple days, and we have stuff to talk about, obviously. There's going to be, of course, the lineups, rotation, of course, the pitching rotation. Who's going to be opening who's going to be opening day starter? A couple rule changes for the league, and of course some predictions I want to make for the 2018 season, and of course the odds for the Yankees to win the 2018 World Series. And I apologize if VLC over there is acting up. So without further ado, let's go straight into our first topic. Our first topic's going to be what the Yankees have done. Let me clear this up. I apologize, everyone. What have the Yankees done since the 2017 season ended? Well, lost a couple guys to free agency. We're not going to get into that much, but CC Sabathia came back. That's good. Let's see who else is in the rotation that came back. Let's get the answer. Well, Sonny Gray's not a free agent until next season. I mean, you look at the starters, and the only guy the Yankees didn't lose was CC. You can't lose CC Sabathia. He had a good record last season. So thank goodness they bought him back. The big trade, of course, was back on December 11th, was that the Yankees traded away Starlin Castro to get Giancarlo Stanton, which I'm still annoyed Starlin Castro was traded, but long term I'll explain the lineup as we go along here. Chase Headley, bye-bye, didn't need him anymore. They got Jabari Bush. CC Sabathia officially came back to the Yankees on December 26, 2017. The big miracle for the Yankees was that on January 29th, they actually brought Danny Espinosa on as a free agent. Now, Danny Espinosa used to play for the Washington Nationals. Okay. Nothing too big. This was a three-team trade. I don't want to get into it that much, but the other big thing was that Danny Espinosa was released. And because of this, the Yankees actually brought in Neil Walker. And then reliever Adam Lynn was released. So, what's the rotation going to look like? What's the starting lineup going to look like? So, this is what the lineup's going to look like on the 29th against the Blue Jays. Okay, you're not going to like Brandon Drury as a third baseman, but a lot of impressive things have been going on for him at spring training. So it's a possibility. I could see Brandon Drury definitely being in the starting lineup. Gardner leading off makes complete sense. You need the speed. You need that. Judge second, Giancarlo third. The outfield's going to pretty much look like this. I expect Gardner to play left. I expect Judge to play right. And I expect Stanton to play center. Now, things can change. Gardner's still going to play left. Let's just say for an example. Alright, and I'm just saying this is most likely going to happen. I think that Aaron Boone is going to change center field and right field every day. One day Judge could play center. One day Giancarlo could play right. It could change. Greg Bird, he has to have a good year. I mean, if he's not hitting 30, 40 home runs, something is off. And I think he can hit for a 270, 250 average. With hitting for power. Gary Sanchez, he's going to have a big year. So will Didi. Now, Didi's not going to hit for home runs. I think he's going to hit for RBIs. And I say that because Didi can hit for power. Yes, 21 home runs. I understood he got injured in the World Baseball Classic last year. But Didi can hit 100 RBIs. That's not out of the question. Neil Walker, I definitely see him being in the starting lineup on opening day. Hicks will be the DH. I could see that happening. And then Brandon Durney. Now, opening day starter will be Luis Severino. Good move by Aaron Boone. Right thing to do because you want Tanaka pitching as your second starter. Sonny Gray, yes, definitely going to be the third guy. CC Sabathia, the horse, he will be the fourth guy. If he's not in this rotation, I'm surprised, but he's definitely going to average per 5-6 innings because the bullpen has to depth, and we will get into that later on. Jordan Montgomery, I like him. Last season he impressed me. I think he's going to have an epic year. He's definitely a guy who can go at least 6-7 innings a game. I think the realistic expectations for the pitchers is that you have this bullpen, and if the bullpen can somehow manage up to the hype that it's supposed to, then sure, the starters can get, on average, 6-7 innings. Sabathia, that's a different story. He should at least average 5-6 innings a game per start. But, keeping in mind, CC won 15 games last year. Can he replicate that season? I don't know. I'm not asking for him to repeat the same numbers. I'm just asking him to at least eat some innings. Strike some guys out on the side. Keep the ERA to, 4.3. That would be reasonable, but I don't want to put too much on CC Sabathia. I would, however, want to put a lot on the ace Severino. Severino was a guy who can get you 20 wins. He is capable of that. In some cases, I could see Severino pitching complete games. That's not out of the question. Sonny Gray, he has to do better this season. So does Tanaka. Tanaka can eat some innings, I get that. But Gray has to come back. He has to replicate what he did back with the Oakland Athletics. So we're just going to take a look at the bench quickly here for a second. Pull that up. So here comes the bench. Ellsbury. Now here's a problem with Ellsbury. He is not expected to be in the lineup on opening day, which is March 29th. He could definitely come back in April. Now, the only question is, do you want him DHing? I could say it's a possibility. But here's my problem I have. I think Torreyes should be playing third. And this is just my opinion. We go back to the lineup here for a second, as soon as it pulls up. Dury's having a good spring, and maybe Aaron Boone sees something that we don't see. But the familiarity of Ronald Torreyes, I like Torreyes. I think that you should, if you're Aaron Boone, you should let him play at third base. Now, let's just say if Neil Walker doesn't play second every other day, you know who you could put up as a possibility? Gleyber Torres. Call him up. You have the depth. Now, Clint Frazier is still having a problem in the minors. He has a concussion. The Yankees have no clue when he's going to come back. Now, I want to see Clint Frazier come back. There's no question about that. I also want to see Andahar come up. It's a possibility that Aaron Boone makes one decision, another decision. Another guy I like is Mason Williams. Mason Williams, he could get a bench job. There's no question about that. Remember, you got to have Romine as your backup catcher, because Romine is very important to that depth. God forbid that Gary Sanchez gets hurt. And I don't want to see him get hurt. Gary Sanchez can hit for power. He can hit 30 home runs. It's out of the question. So let's go take a look at the amazing bullpen the Yankees will have, because this bullpen is just stacked. You're gonna have. I kept mentioning this in the offseason. You have Betances, Robertson, Chappie. It's definitely a deep bullpen. There's no question. But here's the problem: Sessa. What happened to him? There is no fantasy value as a long reliever. Yeah, he has a neck injury. Now I remember. That was reported last week. He's questionable for the start of the season. If not, there's a recommendation I can recommend, and that is, of course, Domingo Germain. Now, many of you don't know who Domingo Germain is. He's one of the top prospects in the Yankees system. I think that they should give him a chance. I know one game he had, he went 3 innings, didn't give up a hit, didn't give up a run. So that's a good sign that the Yankees should give Domingo Germain a chance. Again, that's all going to depend on what Aaron Boone wants to do. I mean, he has a deep system. Now, Kapralin, I think he's another year or two away from coming up. I like Kapralin. I was happy the Yankees drafted him a couple years ago, but he's not. I don't think he's ready. If anything, maybe if the Yankees somehow are 80, 90 win team, and they have the best record in the American League somehow, and they're desperate to have a 40 men on the roster. Because remember, you're not supposed to have more than 30 men on your roster. Then you have him come up. So I could see Kapralin getting called up this season, but if not, you wait until 2019. Definitely wait until then. But yeah, this is a deep team. If they do not at least win the American League pennant, something is wrong. I'm going to criticize Las Vegas in a sec, but just remember, on the 29th, Thursday, this will be the opening day starter. Right here, this guy, Luis Severino. So I don't want anybody getting confused. Very good move by Aaron Boone, which again, Aaron Boone is making the right decisions. I think this is why Cashman hired him. I'll quickly predict that Trout could win MVP, but he has to stay healthy. If not, Giancarlo should hit 40, 50 home runs. That can give him the MVP. Well, we'll all have to see what happens. Now, a couple rule changes we have to discuss. 3 hours. So that's the average Major League Baseball game that gets played nowadays. I'm glad the league has changed it up. There's a couple of new rule changes we're going to get into. Number of mound visits in a game to 6 per team. Shorter commercial breaks between innings and during pitching changes, which I completely agree. I noticed it when I listened to the Yankees on the radio that the commercial breaks are just way too long. Whenever there's a pitching change, when Susan Waldman makes the announcement on the radio, they had to take some action. Okay, so you're going to have maximum 6 mound visits per game. I agree with this. That's no question. Reduce commercial breaks. MLB has changed the way commercial breaks will be between innings and during pitching changes. Stadiums will still feature the countdown clock that runs from 2:05 during locally televised games and 2:25 during nationally televised games. So basically now is that commercial breaks have to last 2.5 minutes, which I think it is completely fair to the audience, and it's completely fair to the pitchers, and it's not fair that we have to wait that long. Now, instant replay. As MLB continues to fine-tune its replay system, a key change this year will feature every team's video review room receiving instant access to slow-motion camera angles. This will allow the replay coordinators and umpires to quickly examine bang-bang plays, determine the correct call, and make an official ruling on the field. Okay. Slow-motion camera rights, so I have no clue what that means, but at least we're getting shorter commercial breaks, it looks like. Now, to end the video, we're just going to go into teams' odds here. AL East, obviously, the Yankees are definitely a 90-plus win team. All right? Bottom line is, the offseason the Yankees have had, they don't live up to the hype. Something is wrong. They have to win 90 games. At least 90. 95 is definitely not out of the question. Obviously, the Central, you don't have to get into that. The Indians are definitely going to win the Central. Even though they lost their pitching coach, and now the pitching coach is the uh, Mets general manager, Mickey Callaway. Twins, I could see them trying to get back into the playoffs, but it's going to be hard, and I'll get into that in a sec. I'll quickly predict my wild card teams as we go along here. Astros, I think they're going to be the best team in the American League. Uh, the way that they are built, the way I see it, Yankees should be 3, Indians should be 2. Indians somehow have a better pitching rotation than the Yankees do. The Yankees should definitely win 95 games. 98 is a possibility, but 95 is definitely not out of the question. Okay, so I'm going to make some wild card predictions. Sorry, Anaheim, you're not making the playoffs. I don't even know why Bleacher Report's giving them 88 wins. Why would they give them 88 wins? The West is going to be a terrible division. I think that if the Twins somehow can find a miracle win, a miracle pull-off, then they can make it. So my wildcard teams in the American League are going to be the Red Sox. Yes, I'm going to go with the Red Sox because the Red Sox still have a winning team. It's going to be Red Sox and Twins for my wild cards in the American League. If Boston doesn't make the playoffs and they have a bad season, that surprises me because I want to see the Yankees-Boston rivalry heat up in the summer. Right? That would be very wrong in New York. That does not happen. I do not like how they're giving the Mets 80 wins. Maybe it's because they're afraid the Mets are not going to live up to expectations and they're not going to do well. Nationals should definitely win that many amount of games. As long as everybody stays healthy, the Nationals are going to compete. And I don't want to hear, oh, the Braves and Phillies are coming back. No, they're not. They're long away. They're not like the Mets where if everything plays itself out, they can make the playoffs. No! Okay, let's go to the Central. Definitely the Cubs are going to make the playoffs. I think realistically, if the Mets somehow do not compete and somehow collapse, here's how I think the wild cards will stand up. I think most likely it could be a rematch of the Rockies Diamondbacks. Just because both teams have built rosters and obviously they've made some acquisitions. They added Wade Davis and Brian Shaw to make some replacements in their pitching rotation. So the Rockies definitely have some pitching. I mean, there's no question. And the Diamondbacks with Goldschmidt, you know, it's a possibility they could make the playoffs again. But I don't know about the Mets. I really don't know at this point. I hope the Mets prove everybody wrong. I mean, I hope the Yankees live up to the expectations, but if they have a bad season, they may finish under 500. I hope that doesn't happen. The Mets are better than what their record is, so let's just hope that they prove everybody wrong. And maybe there'll be a lot of happy Met fans this season. I predicted last year the Mets were going to win the World Series. If I were to make a prediction right now, I'm going to go with the matchup of the Yankees playing the Dodgers. I'm just going to call for it now. I'm not going to say who wins the World Series, but the Dodgers and the Yankees should meet in the World Series. I hope it happens. Yeah, right now they're giving Houston 11-2 odds because they're the defending champion. The Yankees are at 6-1. Mets right now are 35-1. Just quickly mentioning it, but worst team. If I were to give the worst team in baseball right now, I'm going to give it to the Marlins. The Marlins are going to have the worst record in baseball. If they don't, something is wrong because they're only going to win 50 games. 55 games. All because Derek Jeter traded away Giancarlo Stanton. Yeah, 13-5 odds for the Astros to win. I think the Yankees can definitely win the pennant as long as Momentum's on their side. Everybody stays healthy. The Yankees are definitely capable. And look, if they lose to the Dodgers, okay, they lost to the Dodgers. So what? That's what happens when you rebuild. You get the experience, and if you don't win it this year, you can win it the next year or in 2020. The Yankees are going to be around for a while. They were able to quickly rebuild, and that's why I think they can win the pennant in the American League. But if the Dodgers were to win the World Series, okay, fine. Let LA have their moment. The Yankees will have it another year or two then. Okay, I agree with the 11-5 odds for the Dodgers. They're definitely capable of going back to the World Series. I think Kershaw is going to win 20 games. If he doesn't, I mean, honestly, I think Kershaw's going to be angry. All right, he's going to want to go back to the World Series. All right, here you go. Right now, Yankees are 5-6 odds to win the American League East. I just want to quickly check the Mets, just for fun. Yeah, Mets are 9-2 right now, so it's not looking good for the New York Mets, sadly. Who knows? Maybe the Phillies surprise us, but I hope not, because the Phillies are another year or two away, maybe 3-4 from competing. But yeah, that's basically it. That's where we're going to wrap up this episode of the Yankees Cast. Opening day is right around the corner. I cannot wait. And hopefully with the next episode, we will look back on the first 30 games of the season and give any important injury updates, and from there we'll continue the series. So thank you for watching this episode, and until next time, take care.